So we are live here on the YouTube channel of Woman Agenda. Obviously, Raj, your host and founder. We have a special guest who we've been chatting to for a while. We chatted to and I had a good conversation with Danielle hanusek, a very, very talented photographer, and you can say an educator. She tells people, she helps them. We will talk about that. We'll talk about her photography and everything. First of all, how are you doing today, Danielle?
Hi, Raj. I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. Great to have you on. And it was a great chat which we had last week.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a hard one because obviously you offer services, but then you have your own stuff which you do, which you offer on your website as well. So which we would tell you the details about them and how to go onto the website, and also how to avail her services. If you're looking to get into photography, then Danielle is the one you need to be getting onto. She tells you everything on there. I've checked it out myself, and I'm just not making it up. I've checked it myself. I've seen the videos on there. It's really good. The way you explain it is really, really good.
Thank you.
So if we start from the beginning, I mean, has it always been an interest in photography, or how did it come about? How did it come about?
Yeah. I think if anyone feels like they're a creative person, they feel like if they look back in their life, it probably did start at a younger age. But in hindsight, I never realized that photography was going to be my thing. You know what I mean? I was really into art and loved to paint and do all kinds of stuff in art classes when I was younger. And the camera always seemed to be this tool that I just had on my side and could use whenever I needed to. I remember learning how to do watercolors, and I wanted to photograph the beautiful colonial, or I wanted to paint the beautiful colonial homes in my hometown. And so I just went out to these big, beautiful farmhouses and I photographed them. And then I brought the photographs in to paint them. So the camera's always been there. My mom used to say I'd waste all my film on those little roll-up plastic cameras photographing the cats. So again, I always feel like I had it in my hands, but it never dawned on me until middle of college that this was something I really wanted to pursue as a career. And even then, my thought process on where it was going to take me, I had no idea. It really was, it's been what I like to call unplanned plans the whole time I've been building this creative business and also, building my artistic abilities. I know you mentioned I do have services. I focus on commercial and brand and business photography. But recently I've really put a lot of effort into my own personal love, which is travel and landscape and nature photography. So my experience kind of runs the gambit of all kinds of different photography, and it's been really fun to explore the whole industry.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the website of Daniela there, daniellehanusek.com. I've checked it out myself. Really, really good. And so many amazing photography which you've taken. I mean, it's so. It's exactly what you want to see in a. Exactly what I want to see if I'm looking at a pic. If I want to get a photo canvas, and I'm saying, okay, what do I want to get on? What kind of picture I do want to put on a canvas on? These kind of pictures would be the ones which sees all that kind of a picture, the full description, everything
Yeah.
on there. So how, I mean, for you, is it easy now after doing it for so many years, taking exactly so correct, or is it or do you still have to be you have to think a lot, okay, I need to take it in this kind of a way.
That's a
uh,
great question. I mentioned I teach photography, so this is one of the things that comes up a
mm,
lot when I'm working with students. A lot of people think that they're not creative and that they have to have this technical understanding. They want to go by the books. They want to know the exact formula, the exact settings. They want to know how to be correct, how to be right when they take a picture. And to answer your question, it's still a challenge, but in a very different way. Now, there's a lot of confidence in already seeing what I want to capture, having a vision for what's in front of me, and knowing, okay, I know how I want this picture to come across. So that comes naturally. The challenge is seeing beyond that initial vision and going, okay, how can I make this more interesting and more beautiful than just what it looks like when I'm standing here at eye level, right? So something that I teach in my classes, and actually the most important thing that I teach, the first thing I teach everyone, is to actually put your camera down and focus on one question that helps you get to those answers, helps you get to that final ease of capturing the shot. And that question is, why do you want to pick up the camera in the first place? Why are you, not anybody else, not what the book says, but why are you as an individual, why are you so interested in this moment in time? And why do you get this urge to pick up the camera and snap a shot? So we really dive into this question a lot. And it's something I ask myself every single time I go out and shoot, whether I'm working with a brand client, or just recently, my husband and I just came back from an amazing 5-month adventure going across the West, camping and capturing a lot of the new photos that you see there on the website, are taken at national parks and places like that. And every single time we went out, I mean, I shot every single day for 5 months straight. Sunrise, sunset, Milky Way, midday, any chance I could get. So the ease of wanting to pick up the camera is there, right? And that's after years and years of confidence and shooting. But the challenge is always coming back to that question and saying, why am I even interested in this moment? I'm not taking this picture because it looks pretty or because somebody else I think will like it. It always has to do with ourselves as artists, first and foremost. We've got to connect with that scene, whether it's a paintbrush or a camera. You want to connect with your own individual creativity. So that's a great piece of advice I like to give everyone. People come up to me all the time and they say, oh, what kind of camera do you shoot with? And I make a snarky remark. I go, whatever one you want to hand me. A black one, I guess, because the tool doesn't really matter. What matters is how you feel about what you're seeing and what you're connecting to. So why are we connecting to our scene? Why are we connecting at all, right? It's kind of what it means to be human. So it's a big question that I ask myself. And by answering it, the whole process becomes not just easier, but more passionate and purposeful. And I really get into that moment of shooting even more.
Yeah, because obviously if they're trying to get into photography, then there has to be that kind of a purpose which you had when you started photography, because you did it because you had a passion in photography. And if they don't have a passion, if they don't know the reason why they're going to get into it, then obviously it doesn't matter what camera they pick. It's not going to really make a difference, is it, really?
And everybody has different reasons, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people feel like, oh, there's so many great photographers out in the world. I'm just using my iPhone and, what does it matter? But it doesn't have to matter to anyone else. It has to matter to you, and it has to bring joy into your life. So, the answer that some of my students come up with is, I'm about to have a baby and I want to be able to capture my child's life, or I'm about to go on my first international trip to some amazing place and I really want to document the beautiful things I get to see. So it doesn't have to matter what the answer is to why, as long as you know why you're doing it. And then again, like you said, that passion and that purpose just shows up and it brings ease and joy into the whole process. Even if you mess up, I don't even hate to admit this, but 5 months of shooting, there's over 20,000 photos on my hard drive right now that I'm sifting through. And it doesn't matter if only 100 of them are great. What matters is the process, is getting up before the sunrise and hiking a mile up to the top of that mountain and waiting for that view that I've never seen before. And yes, having the gear, having it ready, having it set up, there's definitely a professional level to that, and a challenge to going beyond your limits. But once you're there, you let all that go and you just enjoy the moment.
So what kind of plan do you have to do to take the perfect still, the scenery, everything? What kind of planning goes into that? Because I'm sure there must be a lot of planning. It can't be like you just grab the camera, like you're just grabbing it and you're just taking the perfect scenery, because the pictures, the stills which you've taken, they're very, very precise. And you whether you talk about any of them, whether you talk about the pictures of the cities which you've taken, where you can see the bridge, you can see the whole movement.
Yeah.
So how long does it take for this?
It's a great question too. I think there's two answers to that question.
Yeah,
One, the planning is, the type of photography that you're looking at there on the site, the travel and landscape photography, there's
yeah,
definitely a specific type of planning that goes into that. And it's a very different plan that I create than if I'm hired by a business to go capture their brand and their products and services, right? So
yeah,
when it comes to the adventure photography, one of my favorite things to do is not just look at the weather and plan that great time of day, which for anyone who's out there interested in landscape photography, your best times of day to shoot are sunrise and sunset and night. It's funny, but everyone thinks that you need tons of light to get great photos. But the truth is, you want beautiful, soft light so that the elements in your scene really stand out and showcase themselves. And it's not about this harsh light hitting them. So, quite often than not, when I'm out doing adventure photography, I'm not really shooting in the middle of the day. I'm getting up an hour or two before sunrise. The day before, I'm checking the weather. I'm possibly going to that location in the middle of the day, so I'm more familiar with what the hike is going to be like, or what my surroundings are. And then when I go that morning, you got to imagine, if the sun rises at 6 a.m., you want to be there and set up probably at least a half hour, if not 45 minutes before that. So now I'm getting to my spot at 5:15. And then how long does it take to get to that spot? So there's
yeah,
the drive or hike to that location. And then what can you do the night before to get all your gear ready, right? I'm not stumbling around putting my gear in the bag that morning. I've got all my batteries charged. Most digital cameras nowadays, you can actually set the settings on the camera and then turn it off. And when you turn it back on, the settings are there ready to go. So I'll even kind of get a range or an idea of what I want to capture. You mentioned the bridge shot, the Brooklyn Bridge. It's one of my favorites. Uh,
yeah.
so let me talk about that one for a minute, because sure, there was some planning that went into it. But here's the other side to answer that question. Once you create a plan, you have to just pursue it, go with it, and let everything else fall to the waistline. If something happens, if the weather acts up, if your scene is blocked all of a sudden, or it's not what you thought it would be, or the sun's not coming up in the same spot that you thought, there could be a million different things that alter that plan. And that doesn't mean we should give up. We still need to go out there and do our best. That's why I mentioned unplanned plans. So you plan as much as you can, and then you kind of let it all go and just have fun with it. So when I was at in New York City, that story's kind of funny. I was there to learn photography from a photographer that I look up to. And one of the best pieces of advice that he gave us that day after at the end of the workshop was, your best shots are going to be from your highest vantage points. So get out of eye level. And I said, I'm in the most beautiful, biggest city in the world. Where's the highest point in New York City that I can get to without breaking the law or, going somewhere I shouldn't? So I thought, let me see if I can walk on one of the bridges. Now, most people don't know this, but the Brooklyn Bridge has 2 levels to it. And the top level is actually a bike path. And it's a little dangerous to be walking on it. I don't know that I would have done it if I had known this, but the
Yeah.
bikers are flying by you, right? But I decided I'm going to go up there anyway. And I just want to see the vantage point up high. of this beautiful city, and I want to do this at night. It was my last night there in the city, so I already had this plan to capture night photography. So I brought my tripod and I brought my camera, and when I got up there, I thought that I could see the Statue of Liberty. I thought, oh, I'll zoom in and I'll capture her way out there, and you couldn't see her. It was cloudy. It started to drizzle. There was puddles everywhere around me. I felt very uneasy and strange and awkward being up there alone. And there was this little tiny alcove to get you out of the way of the bikers.
Yeah.
And I kept going like this, like, oh, the bikers are flying by me. So I stood in that little alcove and I just did a whole scan across my view and took it all in, let go of what I was planning. And that's when I heard the cars. I heard the cars below me, and I didn't hear them whizzing by. I heard them honking because don't we know New York City is full of traffic, right? So
Yeah.
I'm watching this traffic jam below me, and I'm seeing the colors of the orange and red steel of the bridge, and then the blue, deep blue sky in the distance. And I immediately went to the second thing that I teach my students, which is after you ask yourself why you're here, start to dive into your five senses and ask yourself what's really catching your attention. What do you hear? Not just what do you see, but what do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What are you feeling? I was feeling the wet rain everywhere. And something that's great about rain is that it reflects light. So it actually brings more light into the scene, which is what makes that photo interesting. And I heard the honking of the cars. So as soon as I heard the cars, I thought about movement. I thought about the fact that these cars, even though they're not moving too fast, they are moving. And that was the moment that I started to realize, okay, here are the settings that I want to use, because now my vision's coming to me. I want to shoot this bridge, this orange and blue, complementary colors. And I want to capture the movement of these cars whizzing through the city. So
Wow.
Funny enough, those cars look like they're going 60 miles an hour, but they're going more like 6 miles an hour. And that's one of the most amazing things you can do with the camera is you can actually alter the vision, the physical experience that you're having. You can alter the way that looks in a photograph because there are these major settings that we control the light with in a camera. And one of them is shutter speed. And shutter speed controls movement. So as soon as I saw movement, and that's what I was connecting to, I knew shutter speed was going to be my setting that was going to show that blur in the car lights. And I spent 20 minutes no longer caring about the rain, no longer worried about the fact that the bikes were whizzing by me. I spent 20 minutes just angling my camera and now creating that composition of how do I get these cars to fit nicely coming through the steel beams of the bridge, and also how do I capture that feeling of movement. So the story came together not because I had the perfect plan, but because I let go of the plan and I just was present in the moment and let it come to me. So that story really does represent New York City in my world because it's a fast-paced, crazy, busy city. And the steel structures really do represent the roughness and toughness of the city. So it's one of my favorite shots. So I'm excited to share that story.
Yeah, wow, it is a really nice story. I mean, obviously, on your about page on your website, which we will just put on here, we'll put it on here. It says obviously you've obviously volunteered in 10 plus countries. What was the specific reason for volunteering? Because obviously you just had a backpack with you at
Yeah.
that time. And what kind of countries did you decide which countries you would be visiting? What kind of countries you would be going to?
So I love that you brought that up. This is another great, interesting story that really represents creating a plan, trusting it, and then letting it go. In 2014, I was living in California. I started my career in Florida, in South Florida. I worked for a high-end luxury portrait studio that taught me everything I needed to know about the business and how to work with clients and really build a photography brand. And I bittersweetly left that company to go start my own business. And I moved to California thinking that I would just build this great community and start snapping away and having this great business. Well, everybody who's in freelance or entrepreneurship knows it doesn't just start like that, right? It takes a while.
Yeah.
So I was living on a friend's couch, still trying to do my daily jobs of nannying or working at a restaurant or something just to make ends meet. And my friend got a phone call from another friend, and they found, this is crazy, but it's true, I promise. They found a glitch on Priceline. Priceline, you know what Priceline is? It's kind of like Expedia, where you can book a bunch of flights,
Right.
these discounts and everything.
Yeah.
2014, there was this major glitch on Priceline. And Steve, the guy on the other end of the phone, said, "You're not going to believe this, but right now, if you put in these exact cities and click buy this ticket, you can buy a ticket through Europe and into Asia for $177 US dollars."
Wow.
And I'm like, what? Now, needless to say, I didn't have much money, but I had a credit card. So I went right on the website, and me and about 30 other people in the area bought a ticket from, let me see if I can remember. It left LA, it went to New York, it left New York and went to Milan, Italy, then Paris, France, then Prague,
Wow.
Czech Republic, and from Prague, it landed in Bangkok, Thailand. Now, I had no money. I had a backpack. I had my camera, and I still didn't have tons of confidence with it. I hadn't yet built my photography curriculum. I wasn't teaching really yet. I was still building my own understanding and expertise with the camera. So sure, did I give up this idea of starting my business? Yes. But what I really wanted to do was just become more expert in the field of photography. I wanted to feel more confident in my creativity. And I knew the best thing I could do was get away from the business world and just go out and explore the real world on my terms, and make sure that camera was at the forefront of my purpose on the road. So the way that I got around was couch surfing. And in the world of couch surfing, the way that the exchange works is you get to have a place to stay for free, but you always want to give something in return. So quite often I was giving the beginning of my photography lessons to complete strangers on the other side of the world. And
Right.
most places I was staying on rural farms or in family atmospheres where I was actually helping out in the household or on the farm and getting things going. And that's what allowed me to travel with very little money. As soon as we got to Bangkok, I actually didn't even step foot into that city. I stayed right in the airport, and I bought a plane ticket to Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is in the northern part of Thailand. And that's where I really started my exploration with the camera. I worked on a farm for about 6 weeks. And from there,
Wow.
people on the farm gave us advice to head into Indonesia. So for $14, I got a train ticket from Chiang Mai down into Malaysia. And that took about a day and a half of sitting on a train. I
Wow.
spent a
Right.
few days in Malaysia, and then I made my way down into Bali, Indonesia, where I spent the next 6 months working on a creative project with an American woman by the name of Susie Johnson. She was living there and creating a creative, sustainable farm and home for other creatives and artists to come and visit and resident in while they worked on their whatever their creativity was. So I was there for 6 months helping build that facility and enjoying the island life and really diving into my own stories and learning more about what my passions were. As much as I love working with people and capturing their families and brands and events, my love is capturing the world and the natural world. And that trip really set the tone for the rest of my life. And that's where the name of my business came from. So
Yeah.
services business is called Live Wonderful Photography. And the idea just means to live in wonder all the time, to be open to the magic of creativity that can show up in your life anytime you want. And that glitch plane ticket was definitely a magical moment that I had to seize to get out there and see the world. So I came
Wow.
home about a year later, and I decided, all right, I'm ready to get started. Let's start this business thing now. That's what I did.
Wow. So, I mean, obviously, I mean, it was definitely, I would say, a very, very strong and brave call to travel there with a backpack, not having much money, but still going there and still learning the experience, gaining that experience which you gained. That I think, like you said, that really helped you uh, become that
Absolutely. I would
photographer.
I
Yeah,
would tell anybody, anyone in the world, that no matter what anyone says, how things are supposed to happen, or what you're supposed to do to build your career or build your success, it doesn't have to look that way at all. It can look any way that you want. And letting go of the standard way of doing things, letting go of the rule book, that's what led me to having the creative confidence that I have today. I mentioned we went on this 5-month road trip. I've done tons and tons of travel experiences between then and now. And I'm not making millions of dollars. I'm not some famous rich photographer, right? Like, we're all still in that, um, fake it till you make it, go, 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 build your success as you can. And
yeah,
that doesn't mean that I can't still travel. Travel doesn't have to be this expensive thing. There's so many amazing ways to connect with the travel world and do it on a very, very tight budget. And quite often you get to see the world even more realistically and raw when you aren't paying for nice fancy hotels or just
yeah,
taking flights everywhere, when you can walk or bike or drive, take a train, volunteer, stay with local communities. My husband and I did this on this last trip too. And it really is the best way to see the world. And I truly believe travel is the best teacher. So any advice I can give anyone, anybody takes anything away from this, it's get out there, go see the real world, and don't think that you're going to learn it through the screen or on the internet. You got to go out and see it for yourself.
yeah. And obviously, the website link is below, livewonderful.com. Do check it out if you want to be a photographer, or if you're just getting into it, or you're studying. Get onto the website. It's very, very full of description. It tells how Danielle can help you out, and how you can work with them. So it's very, very full of description, and how you are, like you said, you are helping a lot of would-be photographers out who are starting up. You're offering, so what kind of services do you offer? You obviously you offer um, photographers, you give them advice. There's lots of services on the website. If you can just tell a little bit about what kind of
Sure.
services you offer.
Yeah. So when it comes to the educational side, um, there's tons of free resources on there. First of all, I write a lot on my blog and give a lot of advice to those standard questions like, what kind of camera do you use? And, how do I get started? But if you want to take it further than that, I have a free class on there. It's about an hour long, and it dives into not just my philosophy of what it means to be a photographer, but it dives into what I like to call the 5 steps to photo success. And these are the 5 questions that I ask myself every single time I shoot. They're also the 5 questions that I teach and have built my curriculum around, which leads me to the highest end education that you can take with me is my full master course. And so it's about 35 videos. There's 3 different ways you can take it. You can take the shorter version where you just learn manual mode and start to feel like you've grasped this tool and you can go out on your own and practice. There's also a self-guided course where you can learn you can take all 35 videos, and they're short, they're bite-sized, 5 to 10 minutes long. Um, you can take it out on your own, and then you get a cheat sheet with you. I wish I had one here. I'd show it to you. It's a cool little printout that really gives you all your settings and helps you understand the camera when you're out in the field. And then there's the third level, which is you get the whole course and you get mentorship from me. So I offer 3 months, 90 days of one-on-one coaching. And that can lead you anywhere. I've taught everything from high schoolers who just want to bring this into their college career. I've taught grandmothers and retirees who are just getting to do their own creative thing in life after retiring. And I've taught everyday creatives, moms and family members who, let's face it, the world is full of cameras. We all have a camera with us all the time, right? So if you're anyone who really wants to feel confident and feel creative with the camera, that full master course will give you all the stuff that I wish someone had told me when I first started shooting. I bring all that expertise of years of going around the world and shooting in my business. And I just jam pack into this, this full course where I will actually be, as you shoot during the course, you get assignments and all that kind of stuff. And then you can share your images with me, and I give you full critique and feedback to help you build your portfolio in the direction that you want to build it. So one of my favorite students, I'll just bring her up. I've got a handful of them that I love, but Jennifer Holly is a photographer in my area who started in my courses, and now she's a wonderful, incredible boudoir and engagement and wedding photographer in the Orlando, Florida area. And, she was able to start her business after taking my course. There's a couple others. There's a wonderful guy by the name of Ross Merrigan, who is also traveling around the country right now, capturing the most gorgeous wildlife pictures I've ever seen in my life. And I didn't teach him how to shoot wildlife, but I taught him how to use his camera as a tool and feel confident with it and understand those settings so that, again, he could go out and live wonderful, see how he wanted to bring purpose and passion into his creativity. And so, like I said, it could just be something simple where you want to have this little creative skill in your toolbox for the rest of your life, or you could go on to build a whole business with it. And I have to say, as much as I love shooting other people and even shooting nature photography, being able to teach has kept my passion alive for photography. I think I've learned more and become a better photographer because I've explained it so many times, and I've taught so many thousands of people how to do it. And it really is, it's so much fun to see other people light up and realize, oh, I am creative. Oh my God, I can do this. This isn't as hard as I thought. And, I think a lot of people think photography, just like a lot of technology, is very elusive, or it's out there and it's difficult. And maybe they're not too keen on learning new technological things. But the truth is, it doesn't matter what kind of camera you have. It doesn't matter where technology goes. Photography is about storytelling. It's about how you see the world. And that's really what I teach people to do is to come back into that, passion and purpose, your why. And then the camera is just a fun little tool we learn how to use along the way. And then you can take it wherever you want to go. So the master course and the free courses are great. The program is called Your Storyteller's Journey, if that gives you any idea of the fun we have with it. It's about you becoming a storyteller and going on this creative journey with me. So really love teaching. We also do photo editing classes. So I know that's a big part of the digital photography world now, and we teach that. And then I help people start their businesses. So like I said, Jen Holly's been able to start her portrait photography business by working with me and mentoring with me. And it's something I'm really passionate about doing. I think that everybody is a photographer, everybody's a storyteller, and there's no competition. Your individual creativity needs to shine. So I'm here to help you do that.
Absolutely. And if you want to get in touch with Danielle, and I'm sure there would be lots of people who would like to get in touch. Like you said, you've helped so many people, and obviously it shows on the website on livewonderful.com, how many brands, how many people you've helped out. Get in touch, click on contact us, click on the link, send Danielle a message, and she'll get in touch with you.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's links on there for the Live Wonderful YouTube channel, and her social media of Live Wonderful is on there as well. And if you want to see Danielle's work, if you want to order her work, her own work, that's available on daniellehanusek.com. Her official collection is on there. And I've been checking out myself the collection, and it's really good on there. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely. I mean, I could definitely be talking this for a long time with yourself because
I'm a
it's so
talker, I
interesting.
know.
Because it's so interesting. Absolutely, it's so interesting what you've done, and you've given a great example what you can do. And it doesn't have to be glamorous. It doesn't have to be um, anything. You can do it by just having a backpack, just volunteering, going to countries and doing this kind of stuff, getting the experience. But now you're helping people who don't have to do that kind of stuff because
Right.
you're there, you're offering this kind of service. So I think they're getting a bit of a extra advantage, like you said, um, in there.
Absolutely.
And definitely, I would say take advantage of that, definitely, because Danielle's offering that kind of a service, which is very good, very descriptive. It explains very well with the videos and everything. So livewonderful.com, check it out, and we will include the link on the channel description, and also on the audio version, which is available when we upload it today. Very shortly, it'll be available straight away on the Woman Agenda podcast website, which we will just put back on in a second once we find it. It is the womanagendapodcast.com. That's the official redesign website with a new host. So check it out. The podcast will be on there. You can listen directly on there with Danielle. The chat, which we'll have in audio version, will be there. And we will upload the video version as well on there. If you haven't caught it now, you'll be able to catch it on there on the video link on the website. Danielle, absolutely, you've described it absolutely great. I mean, there's no better way than I can say that you've already described it, what you offer. And if people want to get in touch with you regarding your any inquiries, if you can just tell them your social handlers.
Sure. I have a few, mostly on Instagram, but my teaching and services are on at livewonderful_. And you can see my portfolio work and also more of the brands and businesses that I capture. If you have a brand or business that you want to have captured, those are at Danielle_hanusek at Live Wonderful. You can find me on Facebook as well, and they're all under the same names. And then again, on the website, livewonderful.com is if you have any inquiries or you're interested in any of my services, there's a contact page there. So do reach out. I write right away. It's only me.
Yeah, exactly. And if you do forget that, you can see her social media links for Live Wonderful on the website as well on contact us page. So livewonderful.com. Check it out. It's really good. And get in touch with Danielle if you want to get into photography, if you need her support. And I would say take advantage of the services, definitely, because it's great if you have that support with you. That gives you an extra edge, which Danielle, like you've said, you didn't have. You had to do the grind work,
Yeah.
the hard work, but you did it wonderfully, and credit to you. And especially on International Women's Day, I think you're a prime example of what women can do. So and definitely a very, very good role model for both genders. So I would say check it out, and also do check out if you're interested in photography like I am, and the canvases like what I am doing and what I'm trying to collect in the room. So you check it out, daniellehanusek.com. And it's some amazing stuff there. Definitely, it's
Thank
hard
you.
to pick which is the best one. They're all good as each other, I would say, in their own way.
That website's cool too because it's got some great software on it. There's a virtual reality where you can actually hold your phone camera up to the room, the wall that you want to put your photo on. You can choose the photo and actually see what it would look like and what size you want to order. You can actually see it on your phone before you place the order. There's also all kinds of cool gifts and stuff too. You can order my work on everything from a mug to a pillow to a tote bag to even a yoga mat.
Wow.
So I really want, I think that artwork should be accessible. And, you know, as much as we love selling our big, gorgeous life-size canvases, there's a price point for everybody there. So take advantage of even $5 prints, put one on your desk and think of it as a inspiration for you to always live wonderful.
Absolutely. On all our social media, on the Twitter handler, and which is coming up on here, we will include some of the clips of the chat with Danielle, and then you can get onto the link and you can check out the full interview on the YouTube channel or on the website, whichever your preference. And obviously we'll put it on Facebook and Instagram as well as TikTok, which I'm trying to figure out.
I haven't figured that out yet.
I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, because I don't know. TikTok is good, but then I get some spam messages and stuff, and I'm like, should I be on here now?
Yeah. You know, they say you got to be everywhere now, right?
But yeah, exactly. It's something which unfortunately I have to be on all these platforms. But yeah, Twitter, Facebook, I find very easy, these two. And Instagram, getting my head around that slowly. Yeah, it's okay. TikTok, yeah, trying to get used to TikTok as well. So you can get us on there. Like I said, daniellehanusek.com. Her personal collection is on there. You can get in touch with her as well. Loads of great collections on there. And you can order her work on there. And if you want to get in touch with her services, with her how she can help you out, livewonderful.com, get in touch. The links will be on the audio version as well as the video versions as well, on the clips. It will be all on there. Danielle, I mean, to be honest, I could chat to you for a very, very long time, to be honest, because it's so interesting. But yeah, absolutely. It's been a great pleasure to have you on. I mean, we chatted very well, and I'm sure we will bring you on later on again. I'm sure that will happen.
Thanks for having me. This has been fun.
It's been great to have you on. On what time is it down there?
It is 9:48 a.m. in Orlando, Florida.
Wow. Yeah, I remember when I chatted to you, it was about 9 or something. It was very early when I chatted to you as well at that time.
It's late afternoon for you, right?
It's late afternoon, and it's time for which we call Yorkshire Cuppa. Yorkshire coffee.
Right. I'll go have a cup of coffee now too, my late morning cup.
Late morning cup, absolutely. I wish you have a very nice day and a very nice week. And I will send you some of that the stuff. I will send you the videos and stuff.
Great.
Of this. I'll send it over to you, Danielle. Thank you very much for coming on, and wishing you lots of success on Women's Day. It is International Women's Day.
I know. I love that. That's awesome. That's a nice little serendipitous thing.
It is International Women's Day, and in India they're doing the Holi Day in India, where you throw the paint. I think have you heard about that?
I have. You know, that is a really cool experience. I would love to photograph one day. Going to
exactly. I think you would bring that kind of a colorful thing into those pictures into life. Absolutely,
absolutely. You would. That would be really cool. I'll have to look into that. My next big adventure.
Yeah, definitely. It would be. So yeah, it's great to bring this on, actually, especially on International Women's Day. where we're honoring so many women who have made a massive difference in society and who have been role models for both genders. And we all always appreciate women, and we should do in everyday life. So thank you very much, Danielle, and
Thanks for having me.
thank you very much, and have a fantastic week. Lots of success in your Live Wonderful business.
Thank you.